Have you ever asked yourself what it would feel like to inject pure, unfiltered talent into our quarterback room? Could one bold move flip the script on the entire NFC North landscape? What if I told you Detroit Lions fans might be on the verge of a blockbuster deal so wild it reads like a Hollywood draft night twist? Well, fasten your seatbelts because today on Lions News Fan Report, we're unpacking the rumor that has Motor City buzzing, the possibility that Shedeur Sanders could soon be calling Detroit home. But before we dive into the jaw-dropping specifics, do me a favor. Drop a like and subscribe to Lions News Fan Report so you never miss an insider scoop. Ready? Let's roll. It all started during the 2025 draft when college football's standout signal caller kept everyone on edge. Day 1 passed, Day 2 slipped away, and on Day 3, to the shock of fans and pundits alike, Shedeur Sanders was finally selected by the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round. For a player whose arm strength and field vision had scouts penciling him in as a first-round lock, the fall was seismic. Yet that only fueled the rumor mill. Could Denver's own Coach Prime progeny really slide into the Motor City? Here's where it gets juicy. Sources whisper that Detroit's front office never fully satisfied with Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen as Jared Goff's understudies is quietly crafting a pitch to send Hooker and a 2026 5th-round pick east in exchange for Sanders' rights. Imagine a quarterback duo featuring Goff's veteran savvy and Sanders' dynamic playmaking. Could this be the spark that turns our backup woes into the envy of the league? Some insiders suggest the calculus makes sense. Detroit boasts an overflowing stockpile of 2026 picks, so parting with one 5th-rounder barely dents their draft capital. Meanwhile, Cleveland would welcome a polished veteran like Hooker to groom alongside Deshaun Watson. Of course, trading for Sanders isn't without its risks. Remember the chatter about attitude concerns during his pre-draft meetings? Well, his father, Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, came to his defense on Asante Samuel's podcast, insisting his son arrived prepared, professional, and poised to be a team leader. With 6 different offensive coordinators under his belt at Colorado and still producing, Shedeur has proven he adapts faster than a Detroit rush on 3rd and long. Could his versatility under new play callers be exactly what the Lions need to keep drives alive when Goff needs a breather? Let's rewind to last season. When Goff limped off with an ankle tweak, the only reliable arm the Lions had was Teddy Bridgewater, plucked out of retirement like a safety net at the 11th hour. That scenario, a playoff run without a trustworthy backup QB, haunted coaches and fans alike. Now, picture a contingency plan that doesn't require resurrecting retirees but instead preps a young talent for years to come. Could Sanders' presence not only shield Goff from overexposure but also evolve into a long-term succession plan? Dive deeper into the numbers. Sanders threw for over 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns as a junior, leading the Buffaloes to an offensive renaissance. Contrast that with Hooker's pedestrian backup stats and Allen's inconsistent flashes, and you start to see why Detroit brass might prefer a high-ceilings gamble over status quo stability. Fans on social media are already crunching hypotheticals. If Sanders learns behind Goff for a season, could he be the perfect heir apparent in 2026? Some even argue that pairing Sanders with offensive weapons like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs could unlock an entirely new dimension to our attack. Speculation aside, logistics could determine the timeline. Will the Browns demand a 3rd round pick instead? Or might the Lions sweeten the pot with conditional incentives tied to playing time? And what about roster fit? Can Detroit's coaching staff integrate Sanders' dual-threat style without compromising Goff's rhythm? Could this very uncertainty be the reason why major press conferences haven't been scheduled yet? What we know for sure is that the rumor mill is spinning at full throttle. Team insiders hint that the front office is weighing options as we speak, with potential negotiations happening quietly during minicamp. Could a mid-June announcement drop as a strategic surprise, jolting the league into attention like a fourth-quarter interception? Or will Detroit tease us until training camp, building? Suspense to a fever pitch? If you're as fired up as I am, go ahead and smash that like button now and subscribe to Lions News Fan Report. Let's keep this Motor City movement rolling. Picking up where we left off, imagine the scene in downtown Detroit the moment the front office finally pulls the trigger on the Shedeur-Sanders trade. Will the news break just before training camp opens, sending shockwaves through the locker room? Could it be timed to overshadow another NFC North headline, making Lions Nation the center of every sports talk show? Insiders hint at a carefully orchestrated reveal, one designed to maximize hype and inject instant momentum into our offense. Once the deal is official, let's say Detroit parts with Hendon Hooker and a mid-round pick, we'll get a first look at Sanders in Honolulu blue and silver. Picture him walking into practice on that first day, helmet in hand, scanning the field before flashing that trademark confident grin. Some teammates might greet him with a knowing nod, recognizing the arrival of a dynamic playmaker. Could his very presence elevate Jared Goff's game by keeping opposing defenses honest? Imagine a scenario where linebackers hesitate to cheat toward the run because they're keyed on Sanders' arm, giving Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery extra room to roam. But let's not forget the challenges. Integrating a rookie QB into an NFL huddle isn't like plug-and-play. Detroit's coaching staff will need to balance Goff's established rhythm with Sanders' high-octane skill set. Will offensive coordinator Ben Johnson scheme a handful of fast-paced 2-minute drills to let Shedeur shine? Could the Lions even experiment with read option packages tailored to Sanders' mobility? Some analysts believe a limited script early in the season, think 5 designed runs and 8 quick dropbacks, could ease him in without disrupting the offense's flow. Yet others warn that too conservative an approach might squander the very talent we traded for. From the sidelines, fans will be glued to their screens whenever Sanders is on the roster bubble. Could his first regular season snap be the turning point in a tight mid-October matchup? Picture this. Fourth quarter, down by 3, Goff steps out with an ankle flinch. Enter Sanders, cool under pressure, delivering a precise strike to Amon-Ra St. Brown for the go-ahead touchdown. Would that instant legend-making moment cement his place in Lions lore? Or might nerves in his first live game lead to a wobbly deep ball, setting social media ablaze with second-guessing? The suspense is already intoxicating. Beyond the X's and O's, there's the human element. Shedeur arrives in Detroit as part of a legacy, son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, carrying both immense expectations and the weight of football royalty. How will the city embrace him? Motor City prides itself on grit and authenticity. Could Sanders' West Coast swagger mesh with Detroit's blue-collar ethos? Some locals speculate that a locker room trip to admire the Lions' Super Bowl banners might help him connect with the franchise's history. Others propose a community outreach appearance at Cass Technical High School to win over kids dreaming of NFL stardom. And consider the ripple effect on the Browns. If Cleveland lands Hooker and that 5th-round pick, might they retool their QB, room around a proven former starter? Could the Browns opt to lean on Deshaun Watson as the primary playmaker, with Hooker as a solid backup? It's a chess match at the highest level, and Detroit is betting on youth, potential, and a fresh narrative. Some say the Lions are positioning themselves not just to compete this season, but to build a dynasty duo. Goff for now, Sanders for the future. So, what do you think, Lions faithful? Is this trade the bold stroke of genius that catapults Detroit into contender status? Or is it a high-risk gamble that could leave us questioning every down for seasons to come? Drop your predictions and fiery reactions in the comments below. Dying to see what you believe. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Shedeur-Sanders saga, don't forget to like, subscribe to Lions News Fan Report, and ring that notification bell so you're always first to hear the next bombshell rumor. Thanks for tuning in, and here's to roaring into a historic season together.